Welcome to the Maxwell Leadership Executive Podcast, where our goal is to help you increase your reputation as a leader, increase your ability to influence others, and increase your ability to fully engage your team to deliver remarkable results. I am Perry Holley, a Maxwell Leadership Facilitator and Coach.
And I'm Chris Goede, Executive Vice President with Maxwell Leadership. Welcome and thank you for joining. Well, we've all heard about these catchy phrases, right? They just keep going.
It doesn't stop.
They just keep going. Well, we got another one for you guys today. And so we're super excited that you're joining us and going to dive in because this is going to help you, whether you're an individual contributor or a leader in the business community. We've heard about the Great Resignation. Perry tried to do that twice on me, and I kept going back to find him. Then he went through a quiet quitting phase. I had to wake him up from that.
I'm back.
And then now he has this conscious unbossing he went through where I don't want to unboss. I'm not going to boss anybody. I'm out. I'm not doing anything, Goede. And then we have one more that we're going to share with you as soon as we dive in. But just as a reminder, go to maxwellleadership.com/podcast. There you can click on this podcast, fill out a form. If you got a question, you got a comment, if you're interested in bringing some training to your organization to help the culture, we do that with the 5 levels of leadership. It is our foundational course. It helps develop a common language of leadership in organizations. And not only do we train to it, but we coach to it. Perry's been a big part of that for many years. So you can go there, fill out a form, ask for that information, and our team will get back to you. Well, as we get started, here's the topic. And this is what we're talking about today outside of these catchy phrases. Leading through the Great Detachment.
The Great Detachment.
Detachment. This just, I feel like every 6 months we're going to get a new phrase. But this actually comes from an article that you saw, I saw, one of our other coaches saw and sent it to us again. Guys, you got to read this. Yeah, Michael, thank you so much for that. Which I think you're going to feel Michael's bent in some of this because we got some data for him. He always likes when we talk about some data. But the Great Detachment, why employees feel stuck. And this article was written through Gallup by Dr. Ben Widgert and Dr. Corey Tattle. And so we're going to dive into that topic today and talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. And like you said, I'm about done with the catchphrases, but coming from Gallup and it being so data-backed, I think it's worth talking about a little bit. But it says that the authors talk about employees as a whole feeling a greater sense of detachment from their jobs. There's many more people looking for jobs right now than they said, like from 2015, the rate's really gone up. Overall satisfaction with the employer has gone down, and that they're frustrated, struggling to find new jobs based on what kind of market you're in, but because of the economy and inflation and those types of things, there's some challenges there. What caught my attention, he said, turnover numbers are down, which we all look at that. What is turnover? Oh, we're down year to year, but employee productivity has gone down.
Yeah,
so
that jumped off the page.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah.
Man, wow. When they feel detached from their work, you think about the organizational change initiatives that just keep coming, that there's more change, that they're frustrated, and we're being met with like indifference or resistance. You're trying to do too much. I'm detached from what you're feeling. I wish I could find another job, but I can't, and so I'm just going to be here and do less. I guess. But
when I saw that turnover numbers may have slowed, we would celebrate that initially, right?
Yes.
We'd be like, yes, this is because we watched that number, and then we're like, oh, wait a minute, no. It's just because productivity is down as well, and they're just sitting there, right? They're detached, and with the way that the world is out in the job market, they're just kind of hanging out, and so. The authors then go in and talk a little bit about, okay, so what's causing this, the detachment and the disengagement? Well, we all know that over the last 3+ years or so, a lot of organizations have gone through massive and rapid organizational change, right? Think about even just the way we do things here at Maxwell Leadership and how we deliver content. All that is happening completely different. And so that is causing some of this disengagement or detachment with our employees. So 73%, here's a couple statistics for you. 73% say that their organization has experienced some type of disruptive change in whatever they're doing. Some more than others, but 73% say they have in the past year alone. So the more disruption that employee experience, the more likely they're to feel burned out. I mean, it only takes so many, hey, let's try to do this differently before you go, okay, I'm tired, I'm burned out. Also, though, 55% of managers are reporting disruption from the restructuring of their teams. And 69% of them say employees have additional job responsibilities now because of the restructuring.
Hell yeah.
I think this is Maxwell Leadership Survey, by the way.
I think we restructured you.
And then this last statement is where it says, and all of this is happening while nearly half, almost 46% of those organizations are reporting budget cuts. Right. Just reading all of that makes me just want to put my head down and be disengaged. Right. And that's the proof in the pudding behind why people are feeling that way.
Well, another thing the authors bring out, and this one really makes a lot of sense as well, is that this whole hybrid and remote work has caused some real growing pains around how do we handle that. And it's saying that hybrid work, where you're switching between working here and there, some in the office, some out, versus those who are totally 100% remote, has all kinds of communication challenges for the leader. It's easy to feel detached in a way.
Not connected.
I even just the way we travel, we're gone week in and week out. I'm not here in the office with you guys. I'm with clients and out in the field. I don't know what's going on, and I don't like coming to team meetings. So
well, I was going to call you out, but since you admitted it, I won't talk about it.
I want to get there before you did. Yeah. But the Gallup research really was heavy on the fact that remote workers, or especially fully remote workers, are consistently less connected. That detachment really happens, especially with the organization's mission and purpose, and anything else going on with their counterparts in the office.
I totally agree with that, and I experienced that not only personally but also with some of my team. There's also been, to add to this, a change in expectations when it comes to the customers and the expectation of our employees, like of the team members. And I think everybody that's listening that has team members are probably shaking their head saying, no, that's absolutely true. New customer expectations say that 71% of them, or the employees, are saying about customers that they are more demanding and have higher expectations than before the pandemic. I was challenged by this statistic because I feel like, at least here in the U.S., I feel like the customer service has gone down. And so I was challenged by this to say, is it that I'm expecting more, or has it really gone down? So you're making me reflect even on my personal experiences outside of what I do every day and the engagement of buying products, buying food, or whatever. Initially, I still say I think customer service has slipped a little bit, but this made me rethink that. And then your team members or new employee expectations, the pandemic has really caused them to reevaluate what they want for their career. And we see this all the time, or even what they want in and from an employer. And a lot of the employers that we work with, we see them rolling out different things for them in order to be able to meet what their new expectations are. And so it's just a weird dynamic that's going on right now. And work-life balance and better compensation packages are becoming more important to employees, along with, not in, or in lieu of, along with expectations to be flexibility working and remotely. Like, it's just this weird, you and I were having a conversation just a minute ago about the scene in college football right now. This feels a lot like what we just talked about, of where it's just like, what is going on?
The whole dynamic has changed. Yeah. Everything's well, Gallup reports that the Great Detachment really coincides with, so I'm getting to where, what do we do about it? Because,
we're telling you all this. We have a little bit of a solution for you.
In the podcast now, I have to lay my head down, like you said.
That's right.
But it coincides with really two issues that they noticed from the engagement research they do. And one was a lack of clarity of expectations at work, and a lack of feeling connected to the purpose of the organization. And less than half, this blew me away, less than half of the people surveyed said that they knew what was expected of them at work. You don't know what's expected of you at work. And the research showed that the clarity of expectation is even worse for the youngest employees, new employees, and hybrid workers. I'm thinking, when we do all this talk, we're talking about Gen Z and the 20-somethings in your workforce, and everybody says, well, they feel like they're not motivated. I'm getting all these calls, people telling me that, how do you motivate well, they don't know the expectation. They're not connected to your purpose, are two big areas I think we should look at.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about, what we teach and what we do, this is really in our sweet spot of this 5 levels of influence and how do you lead and what is your nature as a leader and can you build what do you think? Can we connect this to the 5 levels?
I absolutely think you can. I obviously am biased with that lens and everything in life, but when you look at this, you go, and you just said, how do I lead, right? Like what's going on? How do I lead differently in order for this not to happen? So now that we set the stage for you on this just recent relevant article, now we'll talk about, well, okay, so what does that look like? And how then would you approach that? And for us, with the 5 levels of leadership, we talk often that at level 2, it's about the ability to connect with people, to be able to relate to people so that they want to be a part of your team. They want to follow you. Level 3 would be, hey, what are we doing to produce together? Not only individually, but in and through the team so that people are beginning to produce for the organization. So when you look at this initially, and we're going to dive into some of the things you just talked about, you look at level 2 where we talk about building connection and relationships. This is not just building a friendship. When you go about doing this the right way, and when you lead through that, you're going to foster trust with the individuals. It's going to encourage two-way communication, open communication. They're going to feel safe to be able to do that. I think also then you learn from a emotional intelligence standpoint right here, where how do I go about demonstrating empathy for this individual, or this team member, or whatever they might. When you think about those 3 things, I think that drives the level 2, which will help, I think, bring them out of that disengagement level. If you look at level 3 that we were just talking about, man, there's got to be a place where we're reconnecting the team members with what the purpose of the organization is. Every single team member should somehow or another know how they're tied to the greater vision. Right. And if they can stay focused on that, not just in their little cubicle in their corner, that's going to drive engagement. The other one I wrote down was, you talked about this and we're going to dig into it. Set clear expectations, celebrate the wins. And then the last one I put is, when you're thinking about this and you're thinking that there's going to be disengagement going on, how are you creating opportunities for collaboration? Because not all of your team is going to be disengaged. So the ones that aren't, they're contagious. Now it's the ones that the ones that are disengaged are contagious as well. Right. But you got to have that collaboration in order to kind of lift the level of the team. So I mean, we're going to dive into all of this, but this aligns directly with the 5 levels of leadership. And as a leader, and if you feel this, you should really dial in on some of the things we're going to talk about that go right into level 2 and level 3 of the 5 levels.
Hey, podcast listeners. Many of you listening right now would probably love the autonomy that comes with owning your own business or becoming a coach that helps other businesses succeed. Well, we have a phenomenal strategy where you are 100% in control of your own business, earning income on your own terms, and have access to the people, tools, and resources you need to build a thriving leadership development business. When you become a Maxwell Leadership Certified team member, you join a global community of entrepreneurs led by our expert team of mentors and faculty, including John C. Maxwell. You'll also get one of the top leadership certifications in the world next to your name, giving you the boost you need to get started. Visit us online at maxwellleadership.com/join the team to find out more.
We often talk about in the 5 levels that some of us, well, you and I, we're pretty open about the fact that we are level 2 specialists. Mm-hmm. We're Navy SEALs at level 2.
Yes, I agree.
We have to work at level 3.
Yep.
Some of you out there are really you're specialists at level 3. You know how to drive the business. You know how to produce results. You're not so clear on the relationship piece, and this is a danger zone for both of us. Those of us that are level 2 specialists and level 3 specialists, and we have to balance this. Is I have to connect with you before. Well, John called the law of connection from the 21 laws says touch a heart before you ask for a hand.
Yeah.
Level 2, I'm touching your heart, but level 3, I'm asking for the hand.
Yeah.
But us at level 2, we just touch the heart, and you at level 3,
then we're out of business.
Yeah. And then we're fired because we didn't produce results.
Right. That's right.
And then you're at level 3, you're ask for the hand, ask for the hand, ask for the hand. You didn't touch the heart, and you're in danger because I detach. I'm not engaged with you because I don't like being pushed. I don't if you don't care for me. Yeah. So level 2 is critical to level 3, but level 3 is where you drive the results. It's where you set a goal and what's our purpose as a team. And we set expectations. It would hurt me to no end to know that my team came to you behind my back and go, I have no idea what Perry expects of us. I don't know what we're trying to do here. What is our purpose? I mean, this is basic stuff, but it needs to be communicated. And especially we're talking about the youngers and the hybrid or remote workers. Communication becomes critical to letting people know daily, weekly, monthly, what are we trying to accomplish? What are our objectives? What is our purpose?
Good.
Why are you just made a beautiful point. Why are they relevant to the purpose? Why does what you do matter to the purpose? And I expect you to do this and this and this. Could be metrics, could be accomplishments, could be, goals, whatever it is you want to call it. Make sure that everybody is on a regular communication with you to understand this is what we do. This is how I contribute to what we do. This is what's expected to me. This is why I matter. Now let's reattach. Let's don't detach. Let's re-engage because I can get pretty pumped up about that. It's all about driving that motivation inside someone.
That's right.
To do that.
Yeah. And you said basic just a minute ago. This is basic stuff. But I think what ends up happening is that the longer that we have been a part of a team, the longer we've allowed disengagement to happen. And maybe even you look at yourself and you say, I may even be disengaged, that the things that can help get you out of that are basic, but we tend to forget about it. And we always say this at the 5 levels of leadership to where we say, hey, just because you increase your levels doesn't mean you leave the ones behind, right? And so you can't just go from.
Don't you hear someone going, whoop, so glad that relationship building is over, so we can get down to some work around here.
No, instead you got your team that comes to you, and this happened to me, and this is a personal example. Hey, Goede, when are we going to do some level 2 time? I mean, you haven't, been connected with us or whatever in a long time. And so you've got, it's a fluid thing. Now, you talked about this motivation. I love it in the heart, right? Is that when you tie these individuals, no matter what their role is, to the bigger part of the organization, it is going to motivate them internally. And especially the younger generations, they want to make a difference in the world. And they want to know how that ties to it. And you may say, well, my organization doesn't make a difference in the world. It does. You just got to figure out what that common thread is. What is that your organization is doing that's making an impact that you got to do that. You got to tie it together. Now, the other thing is we have this saying that we talk about here at Maxwell Leadership. We go, man, we love what we get to do. And when we say it and we're together, then what ends up happening is that it becomes this tribe, this community. And it's not just a job. It's that our team, our corporate solutions team, when we get together on Mondays, you never show up, but for those team meetings, we talk about the fact is
you can work that into every conversation.
We say, hey, not only do we love what we get to do, I always add on, love even more who we get to do it with. When you're doing that, what you're doing is you're collectively, that community, you're engaging them together into the bigger purpose of that. Again, these are basic things, but we forget to do them because it just becomes something to where we, not complacent, but we're talking about numbers and metrics and, hey, Perry, tell me about the client engagement last week. And sometimes I think disengagement is going to happen, lots of change and all that kind of good stuff. But if we just slow down and come back to the basics, and you said the word that kind of just triggered me going, yeah, that's it, to where I think we can help make that change.
Well, a lot of leaders that I talk with, and we talk about this, do the people on your team know why they matter? What are they connected to your purpose? Do they know their expectation? Oh, yeah, they all got it. I said, well, I was talking to some people, especially, I just had one recently. They specialize in servicing automobiles. And I said, what's your purpose here, to a younger? And they said, all I just service cars. Now, it's a pet peeve of mine if anybody uses the word just.
Totally agree with you.
I just do, if it's like me saying, I just teach classes. No. What is it you really do? So I did an exercise with this group, and I put this on the video we just provided for them. I want you to do an exercise with your team that says, what do you really do? And if anybody says, I just sell cars, I just service cars, I just, no. I want you to be a little corny, but I want you to go ahead and just tell me, what do you do that makes the world a better place? So with the young kids, they're working on the cars. They said, what do you really do? Well, I service cars. No, what do you really do? I fix problems no, what do you really do? And so I kept pushing, so I wanted to be really corny, but I said, I provide safe, reliable transportation for the families in our community to get their children to and from school every day. And we were playing, we were being a little funny, but I said, not really. I really want to know what is, and can I make that part of your purpose? Could you come in here? Do you see that differently than I just service cars? No, you don't. You're providing an amazing service for families in your community based around automotive needs.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
good?
good? No, I love it, right? Getting into detail. I'm going through my head as you're talking about that. You could do that with any position in an organization. I was thinking about customer service at any organization. Well, I'm just solving problems. No. What you're doing is you're caring for a concern or a problem that someone has that you're going to solve in the moment, that they will then trust your organization to come back to again for another opportunity to do something. There's a story there that we've got to do a better job of telling.
Think about what you mark and how you communicate from the top. What do? We don't just teach leadership.
Yeah.
We add value to the lives of leaders who multiply
100%
to others. You think, yes, it's a big purpose. It's really bigger than me. And I'm a small part of that. That's what you want people on your team is saying, I can engage to something that's bigger than me and I'm a part of. And I know what you expect of me.
I totally agree. The other thing is, just want to make sure, don't assume that your people know their value to the team.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Especially the ones that are, the loyalists that just get up, they show up every day. They continue to do what they're doing and they're a part of the production. Don't make an assumption that they know that, even if you've told them 15, 20 times. Make sure that they hear it from you. What's the old phrase of the best sound you can hear is your voice, right? Hey, Perry, whatever it is. Like when they hear that, especially from their leader, they're going to feel needed. They're going to feel valued. And I think the other thing too that I want to add here is make sure you're asking your employees to share stories about what makes them proud of the work that they do. It could be the work that the organization does, but I would challenge you to go even a little bit deeper and say, what about the work you do? Like what makes you proud about what you're doing? And listen to that and then take notes, by the way, because watch for those examples. And then you can verbally communicate that to them. Again, just another little basic tip, but it's all part of how do we get them, and you've used this illustration for those that haven't been listening a long time. Perry's helped us develop over 350 episodes. So go find a couple of them where we talk about the rowboat. And you're trying to get those people that are in the middle, that are just along,
watching the scenery go by.
And we want them to get them up and be engaged. And this is one of the ways to do that.
Well, I think the Great Detachment really indicates to me that our teams are struggling. Employees could be struggling, especially the younger ones, the remote ones, or the hybrid ones, and that they're trying to navigate these new priorities and this ever-changing dynamic that's going on in the workplace. They're questioning the meaning and purpose of their work and what their part is in that. And I think that that's a leadership issue.
I have been waiting for you to say that statement the entire session. And I've been biting my tongue because 100% leadership sets the tone and it is contagious and it is a leadership issue. You're going to have all kinds of other factors going on and flying around. But man, it is a leadership issue and we can address this. We, as leaders, remember, leadership is influence. So we influence a lot of people. You don't have to have a title. And so we can address this in how we lead. We can reframe the opportunity. We can re-engage them. We can build trust. We can foster relationships. We can create culture. And so I wrote this statement down. The root of the problem does lie in leadership. However, so does the solution.
I agree.
And it's basic, okay? It's not easy, but it's basic, and we just got to get to work and doing it. And when we do that, I think we'll begin to see the engagement level and the productivity go up, because I'm still floored by that statement that said turnover's down. We get all excited about that. Oh, wait. So it's productivity. He's like, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Good word. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. You can, as a reminder, go to maxwellleadership.com/podcast. You can get the learner guide for this issue, learn about our other podcast offerings. You can also leave us a question or a comment there. We love hearing from you. So grateful you spend this time with us today. That's all from the Maxwell Leadership Executive Podcast.
Are you ready to elevate your leadership to new heights? Join the movement towards High Road Leadership with John C. Maxwell's latest book. In High Road Leadership, John explores the power of valuing all people, doing the right things for the right reasons, and placing others above personal agendas. Learn how to inspire positive change and bring people together in a world that divides. Order now and receive exclusive bonuses, including a keynote on high road leadership by John Maxwell himself and a sneak peek into 3 impactful chapters. Take the first step towards becoming a high road leader. Visit highroadleadershipbook.com to order your copy today.